Let's declare the war, call in Ikekabi. Try to get Kulugiash out of the war as fast as possible. Ikekabi is going for this fort. Got it. I would have preferred to get Kulugiash out of the war first. If they peace out Ikekabi, we could be in a little bit of trouble. We can also beat up this army. That would not be good. The colony is finished. Got Subavim. Can't fight them without Ikekabi. So let's siege back their lands. Oops, took a loan, didn't really intend to do that. This mission had a really powerful modifier, so we want to do that as soon as we can. We get it because we have 3 provinces now. We finished a 3rd colony on the Halfling Islands, and we have also gone on a pilgrimage, and the religion in our capital is still Nukahi Pantheon. I don't know how it would have changed. Our new people. The interesting thing about the islands near the root of the universe is that for everyone you visited, the tribes there would tell you of yet another farther west. Naturally, Tutu was eager to explore every island we could, gradually picking up halfling mariners as we went, which is why the trip took several months longer than originally planned. Eventually, we came upon a group of islands with no inhabitants, but in the distance we saw what seemed to be a larger landmass, the large canopy of a jungle just barely visible over the horizon. When we landed on the sandy coast, the dense trees towering above us in the distance, we were stopped by a group of, well, elves, but not quite. With dark skin and black and white dyed hair, they vehemently cautioned us against going further. With our supplies dwindling, we heeded their warning. Though I'm sure Tutu will be preparing another expedition soon to explore this uncharted territory. Except from the notes of halfling explorer Felana Quillweaver, we gain a large tolerance increase of halflings and ruinborn, and we gain for 60 years the unwritten atlas, +1 colonist, +40 global settler increase. That's a really nice bonus. -15% envoy travel time, and -33% colony cost modifier. That, I think, is pretty substantial, because that will allow us to go over our limit. We want to finish the colonization of this area. I don't know what we'll do if they rise up. Let's do something with our mill points again. That should last us a little while. Yukabi wants to beat Subavim, which we will definitely support. Oof. Okay, we did win, but that was our cannons. Nasty. We can actually gain a golden era, but I think we should wait. We are going to need to develop a lot of institutions, probably both colonialism and printing press. We might be able to get the Golden Age bonus for both developments. We'll see. We'll wait until about 1500 and then we'll press it. Our mage advisor died. We can only really afford level 1 advisor, so let's get the inflation reduction. That is fine because we are gaining inflation because of our gold mines. These rebels are really coming at an annoying time. Since we finished colonies down here, probably ferry these guys home and then they can deal with the rebels. We're sure losing a lot of money. The army, the fleet, the forts and the looting. And I'm sure all these rebels are definitely not helping. Uh-oh. Not so good. I think what we should do is take some merchant loans to try and keep us afloat. And we can also pay back this loan. tease them out for warriors and money. We will deal with our rebels, and then we will ferry some troops over to the Halfling Island. What are you doing? Why are the rebels attacking me there? These guys are going to be in a little bit of trouble. Exceptional, yeah, we can gain 2 base tags because we're Balrus blessed. I think that is better. Okay, we can run. That was horrible. Really bad. Okay, a marble monument. We've seen this before. Here there was a way we could gain stab, right? Yeah. 200 crowns. I think that is what we will do. Now our guy did die anyway. Very bad. With the passing of the Medaka, the Satrapal Council of Zena has convened to decide who shall inherit the throne. Our 2 candidates are the Effergesmu of House Caniri and the Medawar of House Tarat. Let's pick someone from Caniri. He was the best candidate, and we also prefer someone from the Effergesmu. Our new ruler, the Commodore Danis Caniri, is righteous. We are hurting for Republican tradition, so I think that is good. I think we have to send them over here because we can't really afford to protect. We're doing a Diad, and the Adventurers wants us to send someone up there. That's not really where I wanted to send them. But I do want the plus 25 settler increase, so let's do it anyway. Now these only have 500 natives, so even if they rise up, I think we will be okay. I hope. I think we do need these guys as well. I think the safest might be to siege down these 2 provinces and then ferry the guys from the island over there. It's not the fastest wall ever. We can finish expansion ideas. We should definitely do that. Global trade power plus 20% is good. And minimum autonomy. It's not too impactful right now. Oh! Their army is on this little island. What are you doing? That is definitely good for us. That means we can go directly for the main area. That's what we did not want to have happen. They destroyed it. We have to colonize this. Well, actually, I don't want more damaged colonies, so let's send him over there while we are at war. It will delay the mission, and that is a bottleneck. And that's just how it's gonna have to be. What? Our nobility are plotting with foreign powers. We can gain some money and lose some more Republican tradition. Lost our good general. Should be able to siege this reasonably quickly. What is this? I didn't even know we had unrest down here. Why? Oh, because of intolerance. We can't really do anything about that right now. We have to win the war first. Maybe we can get these guys out. Yeah, we can. Tease these guys out for money and war reps. So that's how it's going to be. Now we can take all our claims. It will be quite expensive in admin points. Let's reduce the war exhaustion. I don't usually reduce war exhaustion with Diplo points, but I think it's fine this time. Our mill power is once again near the cap. I think we're doing sort of okay. Now we took all this new land and we are colonizing a whole bunch. Okay, we'll take a defensive fight in the jungle, that's fine. Should be able to win this, I think. A little dicey, but not too bad. Half the trade ships can protect trade, the other half can explore. Probably want to explore in this direction. if we want to find a way to get the cheetahs. And these should probably just get mothballed. We don't need to pay for that fort. We don't need to pay for this fort. Let's ferry these guys back. Defend these colonies. We are not really doing that well with our money right now. Those colonies are kind of expensive. Corruption is kind of expensive. We have a bank, but only because we took a bunch of loans. Oh, we're way above our gov cap, so let's give meritocratic administration, merchant guild land rights. Be fine for now. Colony finished. Send a new one over there. And our new ruler probably also go to a pilgrimage. Looks like there's another option. Because we are allied with Muhakar, we can go there. That will help bridge the gaps that separate us from distant faith, granting us a boon whose nature will be revealed after the first successful pilgrimage to this nation. Ah, interesting. So we can see the infantry compatibility here. And this is some sort of religious boon. Let's do that. It's kind of cool to go a new place. Don't want to just go to the same place again. For once we had our troops ready. And we gained some cores. The Beggar Blade. During a long night in the wilderness, a beggar approaches Denise Kanir's camp. He is a wretched thing, nothing but ragged and torn clothes, which engulf his frame and a humble sword slung at his hip. His eyes are piercing, still grasping some last remnant of dignity from long-gone glory. He takes his blade from its sheath, and falls on his knees to the ground, raising it above his head and towards Denise Kaniri. Calloused hands hold the blade. They seem as if they had had much familiarity with something sharp. The beggar croaks out, "I humbly ask for refuge for just this night. For this I would offer my sword, however you would take it." We can allow him to rest in a place of honor in the tent, which will make us careful. I think that reduces aggressive expansion. We can let him spend the night at the edge of the camp, and then we can sell the sword for 100 gold. We can spend the night and keep the sword, which gives us mill power. And we can take the sword and kick them out, which gives us more mill power and money. So right now we don't really need mill power. We are getting close to the cap. So it's either the money or becoming careful. I don't know if we need to be careful. There's no risk of a coalition right now. We're not gonna do that much more conquest, I don't think. So I think maybe we just take the money. It looks like we can gain some innovativeness from taking military tech. We want to do this on January 1st. We will not forget. A new event from the pilgrimage. Blacksmith monk. As Denise Kaniri walks through the market of a town she had decided to visit, her gaze catches on the work of a blacksmith monk, a devotee of Mojoba, god of such acts, hammering nails in hypnotizingly perfect rhythm. The smith finishes his work and switches to mending pots. This allows Denise Kaniri to spot a shining blade mounted on the far wall of the monk's stall. It is aflame, yet the licking fire does not spread beyond the blade. Such is the exquisite craftsmanship of the thing. It is imbued with the very essence of fire. It would be a most fine compliment to any armor, even one as prestigious as a king's. We can offer to buy the wicked weapon, spend a lot of money, and gain some mill power. See, I don't really want that. I don't want to spend money and gain mill power. But I also don't want our pilgrimage to fail, and I also don't want to become cruel. So maybe we will pay the money. I'm not happy about it. That's a lot of money for some mill power that we don't need. And when I say we don't need it, what I mean is we will spend it on January 1st. Okay, we got a core province. Now let's trade our favors for trust, because that will allow us to do this mission. Because we are now allied with the Kakabe, and they have 90 trust, and we have caught everything in the Sukvuma area. That's these three provinces, and the Meta War have no power at all, or less than -50. They are still at -100, so we are definitely fine on that account. So let's read it. Together or not at all. It is a joyous day. Our allies in Ikakabe have seen the glory of our Medaka and chosen to truly join forces once and for all. Zena will soon rule over all Horashesh with equal attention and kindness for all citizens. Soon we will be free from the yoke of the Keturatan oppressors. Rise up, my friends, and celebrate, for we stand together with the tribes, and we will be the heroes that are sung of in tales for years to come. Transcribed from a speech made by an unidentified town crier. Mission insight. The rewards for this mission will differ depending on the route you take with Ikakabe. So because we went the ally route, they become our vassal. And they gain some separatists, but they can probably deal with that. This will occur in up to 3 other eligible provinces. Okay, maybe we need to help them a little bit. Yeah, they got a lot of rebels. Let's help them. Okay, we'll take the tech. Gain a little bit of inno. That's fine. We can now build regimental camps, which we probably won't do for a little while. It looks like Ikakabe is doing alright. Just stay down here and protect our colony. And this is kind of the bottleneck, because we need that for this mission. We need that mission for this central one. Okay, Muhakar don't want to be our allies anymore because we rivaled Keturata. Let's see if we can find some other allies. Couple of people over in the Ironwood coast. Not sure how useful they will be. Who are we going to fight? We might have to fight Ryas. They have land in Horashesh. Murka would be good for that. Maybe we can improve with them, although I don't think so. We can repay that loan. Neutral mediator. Danis Kaniri comes across 2 men who block the path, irately arguing about a religious controversy. The eldest of them argues that the gods are just and fair, but they show no mercy to the undeserving, and that those who sin in this life will be punished eternally in the next. His younger counterpart argues that no temporal deed warrants eternal punishment, and as such, all torment in the afterlife must be only temporary, a penitence to pass before transitioning to a pleasant eternal existence. Some of the retinue joined the debate, supporting either position or offering one of their own. Eventually, with agreement between the arguers seeming impossible, the Commodore is asked to settle the dispute. She decides it's wise to reflect in the question before giving a verdict, and as such orders the men to set camp in the area, inviting the 2 debating men to be her guest for the night. Danis Kaniri has barely laid in bed when the eldest of the men burst into the tent. He reveals that he and his young opponent bet a non-insignificant sum on whether the Commodore would support their own side of the argument. He is, however, having doubts about whether his bet will ring true, and as such has decided to offer Danis Kaniri half of the amount for supporting his side. The issue is, Danis Kaniri has already settled in supporting him regardless, and is now placed in a moral conundrum. She cannot in good faith support a dishonest man, but it would also be dishonest to lie about her true opinion. On the other hand, being unable to offer an answer at all would reflect poorly on her position as a ruler. What to do? I cannot answer with my neutrality compromised. We lose Republican tradition, which we don't want, but our chance of a successful pilgrimage will increase, which you do want. Reject a bribe, pick either answer and move on, which does nothing, or we can gain some money and then the chance decrease. I think we already picked one that increased the chance, so I think we will try and not. We don't want to lose any more Republican tradition if we can help it. Complaints about an official. This is good. Execute the official. Give us some more complaints and we'll execute some people to gain Republican tradition. That's good. Dead on arrival. That's for the explorer. The explorer died. We no longer have an explorer. We can gain one from you. Finish this colony. That should finish the adventurer mission, which is very good. We would like to have some trade power here, because otherwise they can steal the money from Clove's side. So we do want to control this trade node if we can, but we need more provinces. Let's try and colonize the other islands. We got another event. The Metawar have been steadily losing power in Zena. They have found that increasingly their larger pool of wealth has not been able to purchase influence from those in power. This hasn't stopped them from trying, however, and signs are they intend to increase their efforts to purchase the influence in the running of the country. We could intervene now to prevent this from happening, but it would upset the meta war even further. We can probably take some of their money. I think that's fine. We're still at minus 90, so that should be okay. Let's build a marketplace here. We'll need that for our mission. These guys want an alliance. Maybe that's okay. Wakar broke the alliance. That is fine. Oh, we arrived at Niramid. Niramid at last. They call it the City of Tears. The waters of the sorrow gently drift toward the horizon, leaving the sacred lake that sees the river born. Denise Canary silently watches the river flow, meditating on the origin of the fluvial wonder, the tears of Niramhat, or perhaps Niraket, mother of all, the All-Queen. Does she weep for all truly? Even for the wicked and the rotten, even for the astray and the lost? Denise Canary almost finds it hard to believe. The gods are good, but they are seldom ever compassionate. Their divine wills enforced without consideration or doubt. That is what the griots have always taught. A cat sunbathes near the lake, lazily chewing the grapes that a miserable-looking servant feeds him. Are these capricious creatures also targets of the All-Queen Mercy? What about their worshippers, who so tormented Horashesh for generations, seeking to enslave it and erase its people's cultures in their blind pursuit of wealth and power? How could anyone ever forgive that? How could anyone weep for men with hearts so dark and cold? Denise Canary can hardly wrap her head around it. It is true, nevertheless, that many tales sing of the virtue of offering a hand to the vanquished foe, for rising above evildoers by showing them the mercy they did not offer their victims. Denise Canary leaves her doubts and questions aside for a moment as she enters the placid waters of the lake. A sense of overwhelming calm and relief surrounds her, beyond what she has felt in ages. The tears of the mother bring comfort and peace to her children. Perhaps, following her example, one can learn to forgive. May this experience lead us to greater peace and understanding. Okay, we gain +2 tolerance of heathens. That is maybe okay, because we did have a rebellion over here on the island because of intolerance, and that was a little annoying. A colony finished on this island, so let's continue. Okay, we have now found a Mion. Who owns the province we want. They also have a ton of troops. We finished this colony. That is good. That means we can do a mission. Jungle guides. Our native policy is trading. We have colonized everything in the Bivivir and Porhunosi area. That's Porhunosi is the islands and Bivivir is the mainland. And we have 5 regiments present with a leader and a marketplace in the province of Igasimpa. Isn't the Commodore incredible? Every leader in Horashesh must be jealous, seeing that Zena is the nation that has bridged centuries of hatred to join hands with the lizard folk. They are pretty smart too. They've been drilling us on how to fight and traverse in the jungle the way they do. It is difficult to communicate with them since they can't speak our language well, but I've been instructing one of the more curious ones. His name is Kyush, to communicate using our hands, just the way you taught me after Grandpa lost his hearing ma. In return, he's been teaching me how to write in their language, the 9 colors. I put a little bit at the bottom of this letter, but I'm not all that good at it yet. Hope to see you soon. Letter from a soldier in Igasimpa, uncredited. Okay, that's kind of cool. That's the guy we are also sending on the menagerie missions. Probably you are supposed to do this mission before this one that unlocks the menagerie. But we were a little slow in colonizing this area. We gain a large tolerance increase of lizard folk, and Ikakabi gains a tolerance increase of lizard folk, and we gain a lizard folk minority site in our capital, and we gain a really good explorer. That's fine. And now we can do this mission because our capital is our core, has a center of trade level 2, and it's our capital. And we have cultural ties, or at least one race being focused. I think we are focusing on halflings. And we have 3 non-human coexisting or integrated racial majorities or minorities in this province. And that is, of course, we got the halflings, we got the harpies, we got the elves, and we got the lizard folk. So we actually got 4 non-human races in our capital. Worf's second sunrise. a sketch done by renowned artist Idai Nororebi during his apprenticeship. One of his earliest preserved works, this charcoal on paper sketch of the Nyanza market at sunrise illustrates the wharf's re-emergence as a center of culture and commerce after the Second War for Zena. Notable, of course, is the variety of races present in the sketch, as halfling, human, elf, harpy and gnoll merchants begin setting up their stalls for a day of hawking their wares. His use of alternating thin and thick lines to add more depth to the piece, a practice he would later effortlessly master, is evident in the Visembi Islands in the background, easily recognizable despite being clearly so far away. We gain the Nyanza Market 1 will be removed and we gain the Nyanza Market 2, which gives us plus 5 unrest, plus 15% trade power, plus 5 global settler increase, plus 0.5 monthly devastation, and 5% extra province governing cost. We gain a tolerance increase for every racial majority or minority pub in Bivacina, and a smaller tolerance increase for any racial pub that's not in Bivacina but is elsewhere. That's cool. We also have gnolls here, but they are currently oppressed. It would be quite nice to accept them as well. And just as a reminder, the previous Nyanza market gave 10 unrest and plus 0.9 monthly devastation and plus 20% governing cost. So this is way better. It's 5 less unrest, which actually brings us quite close to 0. And it's way less devastation, which means we might be able to disable our fort. And we gain the trade power and less governing cost. It's definitely really good. And the settler increase is also quite nice. That is quite nice. And here we can see immediately I'm noticing that the gnolls are now coexisting. So that's nice. And the Nyanza market changed its icon. And we can read here, we have begun to improve the living situations of the people replaced by the war for Zena. And the Nyanza market, although filled with scrupulous characters, has begun seeing business once more. As an independent Bivacina recovers, the Nyanza market may be restored to her former glory. Very, very nice. Next mission requires a workshop. To do that, we need to upgrade our admin tech, and we are very far behind on admin because we're spending it all on coring our lands. Also, we no longer need these troops here. Brilliant government, we can gain some Republican tradition because we are righteous. For the Diet, I think we will agree with the nobility. They want us to conquer some land from Aramul. That is what we want to do anyway. Lost the Conquistador. Let's get him back. Actually, I think let's just grab these guys and send them over there. We can explore a bit with our Conquistador. Noble plot, we lose another stab. Something that wouldn't join because they're dead, but mostly because of the magic reputation. Interesting. We should start paying for army. Colony completed. Our last claim, and then I think we're ready to go to war. Let's start the war. I don't think it would be that difficult. We have the numbers. I think we'll just feed all the land to Ikakabe. We're still behind on admin tech, so we would probably rather spend our points on catching up rather than coring more land. Freaking separatists coming at a very annoying time. We'll probably just deal with them. Corrupt connections. Try to keep our administration free of dishonest individuals, but we cannot always account for the friends and contacts which got them to where they are. Kimburai Retsoir has unfortunately turned out to be a good example of the problems that follow from this, being skilled and personable, but somewhat gullible in his choice of associates. Recent investigations have revealed that much of our well-built trade network relies on bribes, smuggling and other dubious activities to reach its current level of efficiency. Kumbirai Retsoir claims to have known nothing of this, which is likely true. Nevertheless, if we decide to expose and end this, the responsibility will be his to take. We can fire him and lose 10% efficiency, or we can gain 0.5 corruption. I think the 0.5 corruption is better. You fools, you abandoned your siege. Halfling Food Festival. What is more necessary to life than food? This is the question asked by halflings, who devote much of their life to improving and making recipes of every variety. Some of them have even decided to host a festival in Turapriaka. Oh, it's the island. Sharing their culinary delights with the whole population. There would be very little downside in letting this continue, and some of our advisors are already planning to sample the delicacies offered. What is to be done? An excellent tradition. Can also support them, but they're already integrated. But let's just gain the small benefits. That's fine. Okay, Siege of Aramul is over. Ah, the meta-war back. And they want to spend money. We can allow it. We can allow it, sure. Should be an easy battle. Yep. Was your colony finished? We can take Diplotech. Let's just repay our loan. We got the Glowing City Legend. Your explorers stumble upon a rather hidden temple. Inspecting the temple leads to the discovery of lines of silver in the floor, different stones as walls and floor like white, feldspar, malachite and limonite, an obsidian ceiling with white, yellow and red gems. Around the center column is a city drawn with dame's tear, and it seems like it's falling from the sky. This is a map, one of the mimics claims. Look, the different stones are terrains, blood, shores, swamps, and the lines are probably rivers, and gems form constellations. Maybe he's right, and this is a map to a city from the stars. That would make us search for the glowing city. Or that's just wishful thinking of a bored and overambitious man. Well, maybe he is right, and it is a map to the city of the stars. Take another age ability. I sometimes like getting the adaptive combat terrain, but I don't think we will fight a lot of wars. We also won't get a lot from the war taxes. Let's take the war taxes. He can't run anymore. Finished another colony. And now we got our first colonial nation. That is quite good. We need 10 provinces in this area. Let's keep going with that. Once we are finished with the war, which we will clearly be quite soon, I think we should focus on colonizing some more in our main area. Then this guy, he can probably colonize on his own eventually. We should maybe subsidize him. Right now we don't really have any money. We can finally get our admin tech. We should definitely do that. We will build a workshop in our capital right away. Administrating an empire. Bureaucrats have long favored paper over parchment and other materials due to how much easier it is to work with. There are also various measures that can be taken to make official papers harder to falsify. The invention of the watermark in Zena is one. The elaborate marbling techniques and calligraphy of the Raheni ministers another. As empires increasingly come to grow to encompass more than one continent, this need for provable authenticity and ease of use has led to imperial bureaucracies from Yanshan to Canor exclusively using paper for official documents and orders. Paper is the future. Paper price changes. In order to make this siege go a little faster, we have rehired the beings of fire. Now they are an army of only cannons. Denise Canary, I think we wanna keep her. Let the meta wall lose some power. Now we got the capital. Now they should definitely accept this. And we can probably also take the trade power. But do we really want it? How are we gaining anything from this? Let's just have a shorter truce. That's a lot of separatists. And then for Aramul, we'll take everything that does not cost any diplo points. So that's the stuff we have claims on. Take the money and we take their reps. That is pretty good. We can upgrade our government rank. A little bit of prestige. And then instead of coring it, we will just give it to Ikekabe. We gained 50 admin points from the nobles. Taking that land. Pretty good. Can do a mission now, because we have more than 4 provinces producing exotic wood. Yeah, that's these 5 provinces. We have dealt with our rebels. No, our subjects have dealt with our rebels. We have not dealt with our rebels yet. But our subjects don't have any rebels. And Zena has built a workshop, and that allows us to do this mission. Pushing papers. Paper. The ideas they carry, the history that is written within. When we had nothing left but pulp and quill, we took our skills and made do, rising up in the process. But there is only so much pulp to be had, and we need more if we are to continue documenting our stories, crafting treatises, and selling our pristine parchment to others. To this end, I am instituting new quotas to those in charge of sourcing our wood. We need more, and they will be well compensated for the production. For Zena. Declaration of the Paper Production Act by Commodore Denise Canary. We gain paper will be produced in the Zena Vuma area. Our entire capital area will produce paper. That's pretty cool. Up to 5 random provinces owned by you, your subjects, or your colonies producing exotic wood gains paper production quotas for 30 years, giving production efficiency +1 local goods produced, improved relations, trade steering +5%, and caravan power +5%. That's pretty good. We have all in our own lands, which means we gain 20% trade steering and 20% caravan power, 10% improved relations for 30 years. That's pretty good. Any country modifiers from acquiring relics or Medaka's majestic menagerie will be extended for 15 years. So we gain the elephants and the sunshine statue extended. That's pretty good. Let's do it. And we need to find another relic for that mission. I don't know how to find the relics. We finished a colony. Nice. We need 1 more colony here to get to 10. So let's just get that done. And then we can focus on the colonies over here. Just need to beat these rebels. Intrigues. We can kick out our diplomatic advisor. 50 diplo points is kind of bad. We don't want to lose Republican tradition though. We're already quite low. More rebels. We got a bad Republican tradition event. Here's a level 1 advisor. Can hire. We probably need to see some land. Denise Canary is now greedy. Not great. We can now choose what we want. I think artillery shock is just kind of good. Of course, we gain a ton of supernatural rebels. Alianda is colonizing. They're usually the first ones to do so. Let's study something new. Do kind of want abjuration for the other spell. Can do some familiars. Tempted to do 8 construction. We have a lot of buildings we want to build. Don't really have any money though. We're also losing money now. The army is very expensive. We can take admin tech again, get another idea group. I think we'll go with offensive. I quite like taking one of each. So the first 3 idea groups I take are going to be 1 admin, 1 diplo, 1 military in some order. Right now we have mostly military points, so I think it makes sense to go with a military idea group. Now we don't really need the military power that much. I don't think we'll do much fighting, so I was mostly looking at which one of these synergizes well with expansion, which we took. Specifically, can we get anything that buffs our colonization? And I think the only 2 that do that are offensive and quantity. Quantity gives plus 10 global settler increase, and offensive gives plus 5% settler chance. Of those 2, I quite like offensive more. I quite like the siege ability, I like the discipline, I like the land leader shock, land leader fire. Force limit plus 15% is alright, so I think we'll take offensive. Quantity is a good idea group too, but I do like offensive a little bit more. We can't afford this guy. We're almost not making any money. Would be nice to have a court mage when we take our ideas. Let's just take the ideas. And that also gives us a Zena idea. Here be elephants. At first, we thought the advances of Kuika and Suvavim stopped because they both wanted our great capital city to themselves. However, our spies have uncovered the true reason why their advance stopped, Ikakabe. While we don't know the specifics, we do know they did not want Vivacina to fall into either of our neighbors' hands. Perhaps they will be willing to take a more active role if war comes again to our borders. Yes, they did, and we are now deeply intertwined. We have always made it our policy to propagate trade between our good people and the strange people of the New World. As of late, however, the Onoi traders have come to us asking not for food or medical supplies, but for symbols and tools of worship of the Nukai Pantheon faith, and many are even requesting to be ordained as priests, so they may spread the faith amongst their entire tribe. If we accept, we will be united with the Onoi tribe and people in faith. But we risk angering the more traditional Owai members of their tribe. Welcome to the faith? Yeah, well in that case I think we welcome them to the faith. The aggressiveness doesn't really matter. We finished a colony. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 provinces for this colony. We need to make more money. So we sent someone there. Actually, that's probably not the one that will make us the most money. Probably the best one would be getting this island. That island has 15,000 angry people. Let's do this one first, because we have a lot of rebels coming up. The merchants want us to build a marketplace, which we kind of want to do anyway. I think we will cast the spell then. Cast the spell. Makes the buildings cheaper. Build this marketplace. This has 100% autonomy. Oh no, 100% autonomy in our gold mine. That's why we're not making any money. What happened? Well, it doesn't really make sense to build any buildings there. But we will take the merchant loans again. And then use that money. Let's build the workshops. The merfolk likes us some more. It's born from minute encounters with blessed tailwinds, or against vexing headwinds, each some manner of curious, unfortunate, or joyous. Breaking the surface barrier, each interaction earned a grain of trust, and now those minute grains form the very foundation of our relationship, from tourists to explorers to merchants to king and diplomats. The merfolk nations seek further rapport with Zena. The merfolk rose to meet us, and we accepted them as aquatic kin. Now we consider one another pledged allies, ready to weather the storm that threaten either. Let the surface and sea sing united. That's quite nice. The Sohabiri halfling people request aid. Let's aid them. Gain 1 production in Vivacina for 90 crowns. I don't know if that's worth it, but we do need more production. Flight of a future hero, we've seen this before. Their goal is noble, let them have a chance at becoming heroes. And once again, some people who wants to be our faith. finished another colony. We could probably send these guys up here. Now the colonial nation spawned in the ruined sea. Gain a 50% cheaper court mage, which is really nice, except they are level 3, which is probably too expensive for us. 6 ducats a month. This will cause us to take a loan. This is admin points. We are still behind on tech. Keep on exploring. I hope eventually we'll find something that helps us get a relic. Because we are righteous, we can gain 5 Republican tradition, which we definitely want. It's already quite low. Let's build another church over there. That should complete the mission. Looks like our building finished. We built 3 buildings in a province with Ruinborn Pub in the colonial Lyre Peninsula. We built a marketplace and 2 churches. And we have a colonial nation in that area. Roots beyond the root. Once more to strange new shores. Denise Canary has wisely heeded the advice of the locals in sticking to the coast. The jungle, allegedly, is dangerous far beyond just its beasts or strange flora, and the burnt remnants of the roots of the trees that the Onoi people show us are still dangerous, requiring rituals and songs to keep the power of the forest at bay. Those that are willing to talk advised us to sail along the rivers and avoid setting foot on land. Some have heard whispers of a people called the Parura, who might be willing to trade with us and teach those of us they deem worthy how to traverse the jungle. As for the coast, the Madaka has allowed for some of the people, those driven from their homesteads by the war for Zena, to set up new camps and towns there, and learn from the Onoi with a warning to not venture any deeper into the verdant hinterlands. Except from the notes of halfling explorer Felana Quillweaver. 5 provinces in our colonial nation will gain a halfling minority size and gain Horashesh outreach, giving plus 10% institution spread and 20% local trade power. Both our vassals gain a tolerance increase of Ruinborn, and we also gain that. And then 3 nations, Selparura, Ingani and Kamaraka. I don't know where Kamaraka is. Gain opinion of us and we gain opinion of them. So that's alright. We can take admin tech, gain access to courthouses. And that means we have finally caught up. And we do want a courthouse in our capital as soon as possible for a mission. And we definitely also want a courthouse over here. We didn't have to send them a gift, we could just give them a guarantee. Our colonial nation has 10 provinces. We have a province in the FLI super region. It's actually the whole thing. Selparura likes us, and we have Ruinborn, Tolerance, Coexistence or Greater. Yeah, their coexistence. That gives us deeper into the FLI. Our great expedition sailed up the labyrinthine river network of the FLI, as that vast jungle is called, heeding the warning we received and taking great care to not set foot in the jungle beyond, despite a great desire from myself and others to explore. What we discovered at the end of the river, however, was more than breathtaking enough. A floating city in the swamp, swarming with activity, a mirror image of our Nyanza market. Denise Canary stepped aboard and, as always, quickly began making friends. An agreement has been reached between us and the Parura people, as long as we restrict ourselves to these floating trade platforms and the rivers and coasts, we are permitted to stay, and anyone willing to learn their rituals, hunt their beasts, and convert to their faith is welcome to explore the depths of the jungle with them, for the Parura are also on their own quest and great journey. I must admit, their ways, despite their strangeness, have an allure to them, Regardless, our Medaka smiled, strong in her conviction, kind and tolerant to all beliefs, and shook hands with the chieftain of the tribe. And so began a prosperous partnership. Except from the notes of halfling explorer Felana Quillweaver. We gain a conquistador, Silparura becomes our historical friend. The nation changes their religion to Chahinanito, which I assume is the local religion. We'll look at that after. Every province of this colonial nation changes religion, okay? And we gain another great tolerance increase. Silparura becomes our historical friend, and they gain tolerance increases of humans and halflings. They also gain a conquistador, and they gain halfling and a human minority size. We made some friends. That is nice. So they are now the Chahinanito religion, and that is the Parura name for Twofuohiji. Worship of the jungle goddess is very similar in Liechten to the rest of the Evelai, but with greater focus on ruinborn sacrifice and the more deadly aspects of the jungle. Due to their close proximity with the monstrous Leechmen, the Chahinanito hold the sacrifice of such a beast as the most worthy of rituals. I remember that. The Leech dance, they are here. The Leechmen, they are degenerated elves. They are really aggressive when you colonize. You can see the leeches there. Very nice. Very nice. This conquistador is a way better general. We should get rid of this guy. And let's fire him. Birth of colonialism. The rediscovery of the elven homeland Elentir has heralded a new era, not only for the colonizers and the colonized. It has also led to the spread of materials and techniques, as well as a realization of the vastness of the globe. As animals, crop types, silver and diseases spread across Uela's lament, the first steps have been taken towards a truly global economy, with foreign lands and people being mapped and documented. Ideas as well as religious and philosophical debate are increasingly being colored by what we have found in overseas societies. Great minds feel the need to question what was once truth, and from Gateway to the West to Sarazong, the nature of the world is now up for debate. This changes everything. It was birthed in Duran, but we are getting it because we have a colonial nation. Oh no! Made a mistake. We took a loan we didn't need to take. It's not the end of the world. Okay, now we can gain a stability at the cost of Republican tradition. Now we really do want the stability, but I am worried about the Republican tradition. Let's read it. A new development has taken place in Zena. Gnolls, being after all unparalleled in their ability for scavenging, have been raiding the trash piles of the province, and by some freak of ingenuity that our people cannot imitate, managed to produce cheaper tools and furniture than those of the local craftsmen. Obviously, said craftsmen have now come to the Commodore to complain and demand that something be done to prevent this undercutting. However, more pragmatic people in our court can see a non-zero benefit to letting them carry on with it. We can spend money, we can gain money, or we can just let them continue. I think we just let them continue. And then we can use slavery, which gives us another plus 20 global settler increase. That is very tempting. More settler increase is very good, but it doesn't really fit the vibe of this nation, I feel like. Ultimately, that is more important to me. We will get plenty of opportunities to colonize with Orcish slaves in other campaigns. Oh, we can already do this. I was trying to spy on the dwarves to get vision on the cave trolls, but apparently the dwarves must have accepted cave trolls because we can already do this. Let's have a look at it. Street Food Festival. The cave trolls of Grisahud are much like ourselves, desiring peace between neighbors and working alongside each other in harmony. Goblins, dwarves, kobolds, trolls and orcs, once bitter enemies fighting for the gold of the caverns, now all banter, trade and cohabit in peace. This melting pot of cultures has produced a unique culinary fusion, mixing and matching the best of each to create something wholly new and utterly delicious. Nowhere is this better seen than on Feast Day, a celebration occurring every 4 days. Culinary experts flock together and prepare vast mountains of food, full of gastronomic masterpieces. They then distribute these to the entire community, ensuring the needy are fed and communal bonds are forged. One of Asali's apprentices, more chef than architect, spent months with the trolls of Grisahud, learning from their most acclaimed cooks and sauciers. Inspired by their generosity and concerned for the refugees still finding their footing after the war for Zena, she has envisioned a similar street food festival for people Zena, with several troll chefs who are eager to expand their gastronomic repertoire. She has put together a proposal for a network of food banks and public feasts to alleviate the hunger of the people of Zena. Who knew mushroom soup could taste so good? We gain a very large tolerance increase of trolls. Both our vassals gain a tolerance increase of trolls as well. We gain a troll minority site in our capital, and 5 owned or subject provinces that produce gold, 7 bloom, spices or cloves gain trolls. They give unrest and supply limit. Kind of not very good, to be honest. Any known country has a trophy pile, so we need to find some orcs. What can you tell us about the Middle Dwarva? Any orcs with a trophy pile? This is not a trophy pile. That's probably the best we can get from the dwarves. Spy on the orcs instead. We finished a colony there. Let's decide where we put the next one. Here maybe. For this mission we need to catch the cheetah. I was kind of planning to do that with this army after they found the glowing city, but it's taking a longer time than I expected. We need a courthouse for a mission here, and it also requires 10 production. We have a lot of diplo points, so we can spend that to get the capital to 10 development. Wait, no. Why are you doing that? Now we have to fight this monstrosity. They're not so strong that we can't win, I think. Let's deal with our rebels first. And we'll worry about Suavim. The adventurers wants us to colonize any province in Timberneck area. So let's do that. We can take another government reform, the military doctrine. We have quite a lot of integrated races, and that gives us a lot of options here. So I think for pure fighting purposes, probably the Black Power innovation is good. It's a little boring. These two are sort of the default ones as a human nation. I'm also interested in the aerial skirmishes, just for the siege ability. Attrition is also quite nice. Fort defense -10 is of course not so good. Let's focus funny, because I think that will give us marines, but I think aerial skirmishers is a good combination of useful and more interesting than the black powder. Our colony finished, so we do want to grab something in the Timberneck area. Oh, Epithil found the glowing city. Sadly, gain adaptive combat terrain, that's fine. Finish the courthouse, so we should now do 4 diplo clicks to gain the next mission. We are nearing the cap on diplo power, so we should probably do it. I wonder if we should start our golden era. I think that's going to be fine. It makes it a little cheaper. Now we can do Haven for all Halan. We have 10 base production, a courthouse, and we have done 4 constructions, and we needed 1 for this mission. Heaven for all Halan. Elsewhere in Elantir, orcs are expected to till soil and plant crops until their backs break as penitence for what their fathers did in Eskan. Is that fair? In Bulwar, there are those that would have the gnolls chased into the depths of the desert wastes, never to re-emerge. Is that fair? In the east, in the lands of the Menki and Tanitsu, every troll, no matter how pure their heart and good their deeds, is seen as a malign emissary of the hags of the Shadow Swamp. Is that fair? Everywhere, there are people who will judge you for what you look like, where you came from, factors outside your control. Is that fair? To that I say nay, it is not fair. But you will be treated fairly in Bibusina, within the gleaming city of Tanib Dajek, home of the famed Nyanza market. All are welcome to come and find their new home, where they might make their livelihood free of oppression, free of judgment, free of the hated stares of those who cannot understand the power of unity in diversity. With the construction's purpose built for all races arising every day, do not miss out on your chance. Advertisement for a multi-race building complex in Bivsina, distributed throughout Sahol and Elantir. Any minority we've gained from the blueprints of tomorrow will increase in size, and if they are already large, we will gain 50 of a random monarch power, 10 prestige, and 1000 manpower. Pretty good. We also gain Zena trade influence for 25 years in Sealel and Cloveside, which gives us 22.5 extra trade power. Interesting. And the Nyanza market is upgraded, so now it gives plus 30% trade power, 10% shipbuilding time, 10 global settler increase, and 0.25 monthly devastation. The increased governing cost is gone, and I think the other bonuses are increased. And we also get a large tolerance increase for you and your subjects for every racial majority and minority pop in Vivusina. Very, very nice.